Hyundai and Genesis, two brands that were formerly considered to be emerging stars in the electric vehicle market, are now facing a significant decline in global sales for the year 2024. Get ready for a shockwave in the world of electric cars. However, what is the cause of this unexpected crash? Please come along with us as we investigate the facts in great detail, analyze the forces that are at play, and discover the truth that lies behind this unexpected turn of events. What kinds of problems have Hyundai and Genesis faced, ranging from altering consumer tastes to intense competition, and how do they plan to navigate this difficult terrain? In the exhilarating world of electric automobiles, our journey will take us through the highs and lows of these automotive giants, as well as the uncertain future that lies ahead for them. Considering the contrast between the positive internet opinion towards Hyundai and Kia electric vehicles and the poor sales results for both brands. During the month of February 2024, Hyundai's global sales of electric vehicles had a substantial decline of 46%, which was far lower than the general drop in car sales of 4%. Although there is a high demand for electric vehicles, it appears that Hyundai and Genesis are not producing enough of them. Particular models such as the Ioniq EVs, i3 and i5 have had large drops in sales. The Ioniq 5 and the Kona electric have also experienced a decline of 33% and 33% respectively. In the first 2 months of the year, the new models, the Ioniq 5 and the Ioniq 6, have only sold a total of 1,868 and 1,170 units, respectively, across the entire world. The dismal sales result is surprising despite the fact that large discounts have been offered. The global car sales of Hyundai Motor Company, which includes both the Hyundai and Genesis brands, in March 2024 was 369,132, representing a decrease of 3.7% year-over-year. Additionally, the first quarter is in the red with 1,002,608 units, which is a 1.9% decrease from the previous year. It is unfortunate that the South Korean manufacturer is also facing difficulties in the plug-in market since sales have plummeted by almost one-third. Wholesale shipments of plug-in automobiles manufactured by Hyundai and Genesis were 21,565 in the previous month, representing a 37% decrease from the previous year's total. These shipments are directly tied to manufacturing. Considering that this is the fifth straight reduction, it is quite evident that the situation is extremely challenging. We estimate that the volume accounts for around 5.8% of the entire sales volume of the automobile manufacturer, which is a decrease from 8.9% the previous year. Retail sales in South Korea, in addition to sales made outside of the country based on wholesales, at the manufacturer level, which are subject to preliminary analysis and are not audited. All-electric car production fell by 33% year-over-year to 19,310 units, with Hyundai accounting for 18,266 units, a fall of 30% year-over-year, and Genesis accounting for 1,044 units, a decrease of 62% year-over-year. Plug-in hybrid vehicle sales, on the other hand, totaled 2,255 units, representing a year-over-year decrease of 59%. The sales of hydrogen fuel cells have been declining over a period of 12 consecutive months. This past month, wholesale sales of plug-in cars, BEVs, 19,310, a decrease of 33% and a share of 5.2%. The Hyundai brand BEVs, 18,266, a decrease of 30%. 1,044 Genesis BEVs was a decrease of 62%. PHEVs Hyundai, 2,255, a decrease of 59%, and a presence of 0.6%. Total plugins, 21,565, a decrease of 37% and 5.8% share. SCVs Hyundai, 269, a decrease of 63% and 0.1% share. Hyundai and Genesis plug-in car sales March 2024. Wholesale shipments of plug-in electric cars totaled 56,745 units during the first quarter of the year, representing a 33% decrease from the previous year. The beginning of the year has been relatively lackluster, but we need also take into consideration that it was at an all-time high a year ago. Year-to-date change in sales of plug-in hybrid vehicles at wholesale. BEVs, 48,735, a decrease of 32% and a share of 4.9%. The Hyundai brand BEVs, 45,994, a decrease of 30%. 2,741 Genesis BEVs was a decrease of 53%. HPVs Hyundai, 8,010, a decrease of 40% and 0.8% market share. Overall plugins, 56,745, a decrease of 33%, and a 5.7% market share. SUVs Hyundai 607, a decrease of 70% and a 0.1% market share. As a point of comparison, the number of plug-in electric car wholesale shipments in 2023 exceeded 309,000, representing approximately 7.4% of the overall volume. This represents a year-over-year increase of 29%. The number of pure electric automobiles sold nearly reached 260,000, representing a year-over-year increase of 33% and accounting for 6.2% of the total volume. Notably, Hyundai's sales of fully electric vehicles in the United States increased by a factor of 2 in the month of March. The Hyundai Ioniq 5, the performance-oriented Hyundai Ioniq 5N, the Hyundai Ioniq 6, and the Genesis GV60 were among the EGMP-based models that had their wholesale shipments drop by 30% year-over-year to 13,878 total units in the month of March. A year-over-year reduction has occurred for the 6th consecutive month in a row. The Ioniq 5 and the Kona Electric are the two all-electric models that are considered to be the best in the portfolio. The Ioniq 6 came in third place, just ahead of the Ioniq 5N, which is currently increasing its production to more than 1,000 units per month. Last month's top models, wholesale shipments, and year-to-date by year-over-year changed 13,878 EGMP BEVs with a decrease of 30% and 32,934 YT with a decrease of 34%. Hyundai Ioniq 5 9,370 units sold a 5% decrease and 24,567 units sold so far this year, a 9% decrease. The Hyundai Kona Electric has 4,698 units, which is a 38% decrease, and 14,191 units so far this year, which is a 30% decrease. The Hyundai Ioniq 6 has 3,144 units, which is a decrease of 63%, and 4,314 units so far this year, which is a decrease of 77%. The Hyundai Nexa, which is a hydrogen fuel cell vehicle, sold 269 units in the previous month, which is a decrease of 63% year-over-year. There was a 70% year-over-year decline in sales during the first quarter, which totaled 607. The Genesis brand is also moving in the wrong direction with regard to its electrification development. The number of wholesale shipments in March was 1,044 units, which is a decrease of 62% compared to the previous year. To put it simply, all three Genesis models, the Genesis GV60, the Genesis GV70, and the Genesis Electrified G80, were inoperable. In spite of the fact that sales of electric vehicles have slowed down in the global automobile market, the rise of hybrid vehicles has outpaced that of electric vehicles. Electric vehicles appear to be becoming a trend in the global market up to the previous year, when they sold more than 50% of the vehicles that were sold the year before. However, the situation changed in just 1 year. According to the Transportation Research Center of the Argonne National Laboratory, the number of new hybrid vehicles sales in the United States during the first quarter of this year was 320,180. This represents a 45.1% increase over the number of hybrid vehicles that were sold during the same period in the previous year. Electric car sales increased by only 7.5%, reaching 264,749 units. The sales of electric vehicles in the United States climbed by 60.1% year-on-year during the first quarter of the previous year, surpassing hybrid vehicles for the first time. However, the power of electric vehicles decreased during the course of a year. In addition, hybrid automobiles are extremely well-liked in Germany and the United Kingdom, which are the two largest vehicle markets in Europe. There was a 14% decrease in sales of electric vehicles in Germany during the first quarter of this year compared to the same period in the previous year, while hybrid car sales grew by 21%. In the United Kingdom, the growth of sales of electric vehicles reached 10.6% in the first quarter of this year, which is half of what it was in the first quarter of the previous year, 18.8%. On the other hand, the growth of plug-in hybrid electric vehicles (PHEVs) increased from 6.7% to 34%. Even in China, which promotes the concept of rolling electric cars, hybrid automobiles are becoming more powerful than electric cars. More than 700,000 plug-in hybrid electric vehicles (PHEVs) were sold in China during the first 3 months of this year, representing a year-over-year increase of 63%. During the same time period, there was only a 9.8% growth in the number of sales of electric vehicles. Because of the growing awareness among general consumers that electric cars are expensive and hard to charge, hybrid automobiles are receiving interest as an alternative to electric cars. Reorganizing its portfolio is something that the global automobile industry is doing as the fresh demand for electric vehicles is decreasing and hybrid vehicle growth is becoming more visible. From the outset, Ford has made the decision to postpone the launch of new electric vehicles by 1 to 2 years. Additionally, the company has planned to offer new hybrid models to all models by the year 2030. GM has made the decision to broaden its plug-in hybrid electric vehicles (PHEVs) by changing its roadmap for the medium to long term, which is centered on electric vehicles. Additional plug-in hybrid electric vehicle (PHEV) models are being introduced by global automakers such as Mercedes-Benz, BMW, and Stellantis. Since Tesla is the only company that manufactures electric automobiles, the company is concentrating on manufacturing cheap versions. In the same way that it has in the past, Hyundai Motor Group is continuing to move forward with its plan of electrification, but it is also expanding its inventory to include hybrid vehicles. A new hybrid vehicle was presented by Kia at the Carnival event in the previous year, and Hyundai is planning to add a hybrid model to the Palisade lineup this year, following the Steria. Additionally, Hyundai Motor is working hard to bring hybrid versions of big Genesis vehicles, which are luxury brands, over to the market. Stay plugged into the latest updates and insights in the world of electric cars. Don't miss a beat, hit subscribe now and join us on the journey ahead.